Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is episode 97 with Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. Happy New Year. Today we're talking about 10 tips on how to set business goals and achieve them.
All right, so here we are, 2021. It feels like we are all so ready for 2020 to end and start this new year with hopes that the coronavirus vaccine will turn things around and we can at some point get back to normal. So this is the time of year that we start fresh and look to a brighter future. So our 2020 goals may have been sidetracked. So goal setting this year seems even so much more important.
So before we get started, we want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Helzer Brothers Hardware. They are a custom manufacturer of drapery hardware that you have heard us talk lots about, run by two brothers. Jay is one of the brothers. He's an expert drapery installer and designs new products for Mark. They together are building a business that we so enjoy. Helzer ships the majority of their orders within 10 days. So that's a big deal these days. And they can customize anything. So check them out, helzerbrothers.com. You can also find them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Or you can check out our interview with Jay on episode 71.
Okay, so we've got some stats for you here regarding resolutions and goals because it's what we all talk about this time of year.
Yeah.
So according to Inc. magazine, researchers say that 60% of us, I'm surprised this is not bigger, make New Year's resolutions, that only 8% are successful in achieving them. And I totally believe that. The statistics for goal setting are much more favorable.
Yeah.
So then a Harvard business study found that there's definitely a direct correlation between goal setting and success. So it said that 14% of the people who have goals are 10 times more successful than those who do not have goals. That's a big number.
You know, yeah, and I've never been one for resolutions. They kind of freak me out. It's like the word diet. Goal setting, vision planning, manifestations, I don't care what word you put to it, but I think resolutions kind of set everybody up for failure, as the statistics show.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thing, but there's really no backup to resolutions. There's no process for a resolution where there is with goals, which is what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
So number one, choose goals that are constructive. So the purpose of a goal is to move us forward and bring some positive change. So if it doesn't have a motivating, life-changing quality, don't even bother with it. So it's something that it's something that you've been thinking about that you want to move forward with. So if you don't pick a good one, you'll just be disappointed.
Yes.
So Cal, give them some good examples. Okay.
So one, starting a business. And think also, this is something that I learned back when I used to work for Post Properties, and John Williams was our founder, and he would tell stories about how when he was very, very first starting his business, he was sitting around the IHOP with a few guys that he started this mega business with, and he would set goals every year, and they were always little goals, medium goals, big goals, and some of them were huge goals, like to have the biggest yacht in the waters of the Southeast, which he accomplished. So when I say starting a business, like really, I mean, it could be something that's kind of that big, or it could be something like create a new marketing plan or grow your business by maybe a certain percentage, reduce expenses, increase social media traffic. So really just like dig deep within yourself. And I think that these take time.
Yeah.
You're not just going to like whip this. You're not going to do this little project in 5 minutes. It takes some thoughtful.
Yes. And you can't, like that whole list, that can't be all of them.
Right.
You have to really pick one or two and really stick with them. So there's these methods that people have come up with. And there's one called the SMART goal setting method. So it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound.
Yes.
So when you think about that, I think the first one is being very specific. You can't just say, I want to lose 20 pounds.
Right.
You have to make it measurable. All those. We'll get further into that. So they have to be stretches as well. So there's no point in setting a goal that you'll never be able to accomplish. It has to be something that will be challenging but doable with some hard work. And if it's too easy, you'll get bored and you'll fall out of the habit.
I do feel like, though, that some can be big. Dream big. Set big goals. Maybe not, unrealistic. Like I'm never going to probably run a marathon. Well, maybe. I don't want to say never to anything, but you know what I mean? Like I think it's okay to dream big. Maybe you say, I am going to start a flip-flop business on the beaches of Hawaii. If that's like really jazzes you huge, write it down. It doesn't have to be just for this year. You can have some that go to next year and the year on. It's fun to have something to really dream about. So, but yeah, you want them to be achievable so that you're serious about it.
Yeah. So you've got to commit to the goals. I think the number one thing is write it down.
For sure.
Yeah. And then dedicate yourself to accomplishing that goal. So you must work regularly. So put a date on the calendar to move towards it.
For sure. So where are we at? We're talking about specific goals?
Yep. Making your goal public.
Yes.
So just like, with like a weight loss group, do something to make yourself accountable to others, like where they do a weigh-in. So, like a weekly staff meeting, if you're trying to reduce expenses, maybe a weekly staff meeting so that everybody talks about what they did. So make it accountable. If you don't check on it maybe weekly, you're going to fall off, where, oh boy, I said I was going to do this. Let's talk about this at the meeting.
Yes. I think I hate to admit this, but seriously, I feel like Facebook is one of the best places for support. If you go onto Facebook today and you say, I'm just really struggling, everybody. I really need encouragement. I want to lose 10 pounds, or my job isn't fulfilling me, or my dog just died. You will get the most love and the most support you've ever asked for in your life. Like if you ever want prayer warriors or you want prayers, just go to Facebook. So yeah, I think making your goal public, it's embarrassing for some people, or they feel like other people might not be interested, or it's none of their business or whatever.
Yeah.
But
or just somebody that will make you accountable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then prioritizing them. So don't go crazy. Don't set too many. You'll overwhelm yourself. So because they require like commitment, and you need to work on them regularly. So if you take on too much, you will get discouraged. So a good recommendation is a total of 3 goals and choose one as your top priority.
Yes, I going back to making your goal public, I would stem off of that and also say make your goal very visual to yourself, very visible, so that you don't forget it. And this kind of leans more towards the vision board, which I've been doing vision boards for, I think this was my 11th year, and Joanne started doing with me a long time ago as well. We used to do them on big boards, and we would sit down with like a pile of magazines and cut out images and kind of spend the day having a dream fest. And then we kind of went digital. This year, I did mine more with images again, but and you can read all about these if you go to our blog and just in the search put vision board or goal setting, you'll see all these. We've blogged about them over many, many years, and really put it out there what our goals were personally and professionally. But what I do 2 things. One is I have my goals in a frame on my my tray in my bathroom that has all my perfumes and stuff on it. And so literally every morning when I'm putting on my makeup, I'm reading that list and I'm kind of self-checking myself throughout the year. Like, how am I doing? You know, I said only drink wine on the weekends. I'm failing. Okay, let me try to pull that back in. Or, you know, I promised me, you know, I really set a goal for myself to start Spanish lessons. Like, I gotta, let me work on that. You know, so it's that constant.
But what we've done as well is when we go to our business ones, we've looked back and gone, we did that. I would say we probably accomplished 50%
at least
of what we put down. Some years it's a little, you know.
And we always have stretches and reasonable things or stuff that's crazy out there. I think Morocco's been on our, Marrakesh has been on our vision board for a while, but hey, it's going to happen because we keep putting it out there to the universe. So that's for sure. But making it visible to yourself so that you have to look up at your bulletin board or you look at your desk or you see what you created on this day when you took all this time to put these goals together and these visions, and you have to, you want to revisit it. So it's the same thing as kind of going public and telling somebody so that it's that accountability.
So for like example, let's just say you want to grow your Instagram following by, let's say you have 3,000 followers and by the end of the year you want to have 4,000. Okay, so what do? Okay, so let's just say you're in a staff meeting and okay, Kelly, you're going to post about this. Lisa, you're going to do this. And so then you have to like measure like as you go along, what got most likes? How many new followers do we get after that? Like it's something you have to kind of keep working on. Yeah. So measuring it and making sure that it's working. If you've done it for 2 months and you got 2 new followers, okay, let's rethink it. So you're always having to check yourself and keep, if you put those numbers out there, it's a way to measure it.
Well, that is that smart way that you talked about is really to me, it's the only way, because if it's not specific, if it's not measurable, if it's not attainable, if it's not relevant, and it's not time bound, then what is it exactly? So
it's just a dream, which is what our quote is.
Yes, yes. And I'm all about dreams, and I'm all about dreaming big. And so, but I do think that making it a little bit tighter is just holds you a little bit more accountable. I've always encouraged my girls to do vision boards and goal setting. And when they first started out, they were very lofty and vague. I want to be a better person. Okay, well, what exactly does that mean? Do you want to be more charitable? Okay, do you want to give $20 a month to Atlanta charities? Let's get specific. Let's get time bound.
Because then you will do it. It gives you something. It will make you do it.
Because then when you're overwhelmed or you're stressed or then that vague, lofty goal is like, ugh.
Yeah, and if you attach a time frame to it, or even like with the losing weight, let's just say, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds by March 1st. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to work out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You could even get even more specific. I'm going to do the elliptical for 20 minutes on Monday and 30 minutes on Wednesday. And if you make it so specific, then you literally have something to follow. Yeah. And it's almost like you're going to do it.
You're laying out a plan.
Eat better. Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah. Exactly. So we talked about deadlines. Did we talk about deadlines yet? I'm so chatty this morning. I'm so excited to be back on the podcast in the new year. I'm not following my little guide here.
Kind of what we were talking about, kind of having a deadline. Yeah. So that, like I just said, if you want to lose 10 pounds by March, like have a deadline. And so if you haven't lost that 10 pounds by March, why? Like, was it unattainable to work out 3 days a week?
Right.
All right. Well, let's shift that, or let's do something else. You've got to be aware of it almost every day.
Yes.
If you really want it to happen.
Exactly. And we talked about evaluating your goals. So, as time passes, think about how you're doing, what's working, what's not working. It's totally okay to adjust your goals. Just because you sit here in January and you set them out in writing and you tell the world about it, doesn't mean that you can't shift them and adjust them and continue working to tweak them so that all that matters is that you're successful at the end of this time period.
And with the Instagram thing, okay, so let's say you got those extra followers and then you look back and go, why did we get those extra followers? Did Do we get any new clients? What do we do? Why? Why? Once again, Luann Nigara, we have to thank her for the why.
What's your why?
Why do you want more Instagram followers? Is it because you want to
have more clients?
Yeah. Do you
be famous?
Yeah. Yeah. So ask yourself why, because if you're going to spend all this time and invest in all of this, make sure there's a good reason why.
Exactly. And while we're talking about evaluating, I think I may have shared this, but last year when my foot recovery was taking forever, I was really getting kind of down, and I hired a coach. Her name is Deborah Gerard. She has a business called Be Well, Serve Well. And she's we have a Zoom meeting every Monday morning. She's kind of my nutritionist / therapist. She's just a great cheerleader, really. And she's kind of kept me really focused on my wellness journey. So one thing that she really taught me, and that I put on my vision board this year, is to give myself grace. And if you really think about that, to me, what it tells me is to give myself grace when I mess up or when I'm not achieving my type A perfectionist goals. And it's okay to pause and breathe and start over, because I'm kind of that person where I set a goal, and then if I don't make it, I'm mad, and I'm disappointed in myself, and a lot of times I'll throw in the towel.
And I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, it's easy to do. So if you just give yourself grace to pick it back up, to readjust it, to change that goal. I always used to have on my vision board, pictures and images of green leafy vegetables and drink more water. And I'm like, this year I'm going to give myself grace. Maybe I'm putting too much pressure on myself to do, to be this perfect, healthy eating, person. Maybe I just need to take it in chunks or, something like that. So give yourself grace, I think, is something that needs to be kind of intertwined in all of our goal setting.
Mm-hmm. And some people need that to get them going. There are other people who are just type A who don't necessarily need to have something to get them going, but I think it really makes you focus. And even if you just pick one and you stick to that one, you're pretty bound to meet that goal. I really think that if you really, and you have to really want it. Mm-hmm. You have to really want it.
Well, and the other thing that I've learned in years of goal setting and vision boards is, vary it up. It can be a little bit of personal, a little bit of family, a little bit of business. I tried to this year kind of bring other people into my vision board, like my daughters, that they find true love in the next year or two, just throwing stuff out into the universe that I want to manifest. Or maybe it's that I hope that, all the people with hardships this year, last year that suffered so much with COVID, that they find a better place this year, so it can be more than something that's just you.
Yeah. And it can be something that's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Intangible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think another one of the, kind of going along with the give yourself grace is reward yourself for your accomplishments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So celebrate your success, every little tiny thing.
Absolutely. We have Amy in our office. We talk about her a lot and how great, she qualifies our people. And so, we had decided to add a little bit more to our installs with our customer service, with the type of gift we give and the things that we give at the end of an install. And so we recently had a client who said, you guys have really got it going on. I mean, from A to Z, from the beginning to the end, and the install and what you've done, it just really sets you apart from everybody. And so there was a goal. We didn't really write it down. We just talked about it and said, we want to up our game in this. And we got recognized for it, and big kudos to Amy, and we rewarded her. So I think if you don't do it just for the reward, but it is a great feeling when you've accomplished it.
Yes. And I think that's a big part of what we're talking about today is goal setting isn't always just about you. And so the rewards are for you, of course, but also, since we're talking about business, for your team. And that small written hand note, that's on my vision board this year, is writing more handwritten small notes of gratitude, appreciation, and love to people around me, that business and personal. So I think that's a really big deal. I mean, when was the last time you got a heartfelt handwritten note from somebody?
Yeah.
That took the time to write it, put a stamp on it, find your home email or your phone, your snail mail, and stick it in the mail to you. That's a really big deal.
Yeah. Oh, I love getting them.
Yeah.
It's just, it shows that you took a little extra effort, and it really doesn't take that long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is, I mean, everybody's talking about this right now, but we just wanted to put a little bit of a spin on it because we really think that we are good goal setters and we are good visionaries, and it takes a lot of practice. And I think you just start small, write it down. That's the biggest thing. Write it down and think about those SMART guidelines. And
the goals that you had last year may have completely
evaporated,
completely been sidetracked. And every year your goals may change. Sometimes you have the same ones every year. I feel like eating better, drinking water, like you have those same ones. But then there are some that, you may have never imagined that would be a goal for you. Mm-hmm. So one of mine is to start like a garden.
I love that.
I've never really, I do like a flower garden. I have, some flowers that I plant, but
You want to do a vegetable garden?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have some space.
Yeah.
There's really no reason. I'm not going to go crazy and have all these, boxes built and whatever, but I'm going to just kind of take it slow and just try it.
That's so cool.
Just for something fun.
Yeah. And so you kind of put that out there, and now as you talk about it, you might run into people that have great tips for you. Or
well, remember my bonsai kick? Like that, I wanted to do bonsai as a hobby because Curry and Company, Brownlee Curry, he has an unbelievable collection. They bring them in the showroom, and so for my birthday, I had people get me them, and I kept them alive for a little while. I read about it. I went to like a seminar on it. And I just really wasn't very successful with it. I hate to say it.
It's all right. You tried.
But I tried it.
Yeah.
And so, and I did it. So, some work, some don't.
And I think it, like I said, this takes some time. When I started to put mine together for this year, there were some things that came to my mind, and I was like, ugh. Like my first thought was, oh, I just don't even want to talk about vegetables. Like that does not jazz me. Okay, you know what? I'm giving myself grace. It's not on my vision board this year. If I get to it, I get to it, and that's fantastic, but it doesn't jazz me.
And don't do it. Don't put what you think you should.
Yeah,
Put what you think you really want and what you really think you can do.
If it doesn't get your adrenaline pumping, then leave it off.
Yeah,
I mean, what's the point?
Yeah. If it just sounds good, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's got to feel right. So
exactly. No point in being, starting off the year with, I got these goals and I'm not even excited about them. Blah.
Yeah.
What else is on your, what else are you thinking about for next year?
Of course, Italy and Greece. Travel, of course, travel is at the top. Redoing a few things in my house, which, I don't always do, but I'm going to do that this year.
Are they stretches? Are they big things or little things?
Home gym. That's not a
that's
big
exciting.
Big stretch.
Yeah. But you never had one before. So
never had one before. I have three.
That's exciting.
I have 3 guest rooms. I don't need 3 guest rooms.
Yeah.
And so I have room in my basement, but here's its typical thing. I know I won't walk down to the basement. I don't want to go down to the basement to do that. So it's literally steps away from my bedroom. I'm going to get a nice big TV.
Yep.
I've got a lot of equipment already. Get that music going. Get in there. Even if I'm not really doing any heavy, even if I just do stretching and I do weightlifting and I do some yoga, I got to keep moving.
See, I'm excited. It's not even my own house. Like that's new. It's exciting. I'm sure you got to give yourself a deadline now, and tell yourself when you're going to have it done by. Right?
Yep.
Very cool.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it's hard to come up with some stretch things. Like I put Thailand on mine because I don't know, Thailand, Bora Bora, Bali, but I want to have a real Zen component to it. But you know, I don't know, those tiki huts out on the water, they get me. Like I just, Riley and I were talking about it, and it's on her vision board, so I'm like, I'm putting it on mine too. If we both do it, we'll get, you know, double power in the universe. So anyway, just some food for thought as we enter the year, and maybe we're not as far along with the coronavirus progress as we thought we would be, and we all need something positive to think about. So
yeah. So here we are, January of 2021. We started our podcast in 2018. It has been 3 years.
Yes.
I don't know that we ever had this on a vision board or as a goal.
Okay.
And if you haven't listened to us much before, if you go to episode 1, you will hear all about how this came to be. So sometimes things happen that you don't have a plan for. Mm-hmm. You didn't invest any time in it, and it's one of those things that it's an opportunity that you just need to say yes to.
Say yes. That's a good thing to have on a vision board or a goal setting.
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes. So I feel like we have this great successful podcast, which we really didn't even know was in our. So they're look for the surprises too.
Absolutely.
Because they may not always be on your radar.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Be open to the surprises of something that comes your way.
All right. Quote time.
Oh, I love this funny quote.
Okay, you go for it, girl.
I mean, these are both so relevant to what we're talking about. Okay, so the first one, speaking of gyms, I'm opening a gym called Resolutions. It will have exercise equipment for the first 2 weeks and then turns into a bar the rest of the year. I mean, it's so true, right?
Absolutely. Although I do think that your gym will last a little bit longer than the first 2 weeks because you're going to make it so cool. All right, serious quote. If you have a goal, write it down. If you do not write it down, you do not have a goal. You have a wish. And that's from Steve Maraboli. That's absolutely
just
right.
What we said.
There is power in putting it on paper. There is power in saying it out loud. There's power in putting it out into the universe. I swear. It really is. It's energy that will come to you.
Well, what was the 14% of people who have goals are 10 times more successful? I mean,
we're doing it. We're doing it. Forget the resolutions. They'll go out the window. But sit down and make some thoughtful goals. And we wish you all the best for 2021.
Yes,
people.
And thanks for listening, everybody.
Have a great day. Bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram @Kandrak-Cole. And of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrak-cole.com for more information.